This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. Well, Akon is known to be a liar. He's done a lot of great stuff, but every once in a while he tells some white lies. He'll talk about he buys fake watches for people, lies about the city he's building. He's been building this for 2 years, 20 years now. Lies about solar energy. He talks to people about, hey, you don't know if you could have $10 million in your bank account, borrow the $10 million against the $10 million, and then not pay it back, and then say, oops, I have bad credit now. No, they're going to take you're borrowing it against the $10 million. He says a lot of things that don't make sense, okay? Just to talk. That's the thing with podcasting. When you get on podcasts and stuff, you just are forced to talk. Well, recently he was talking about Big Meech. He knew Big Meech early on. Remember he did the Jeezy, Akon Jeezy video. He lived in Atlanta back then. He went to the parties. He knew about Big Meech, and he knew Big Meech. Not really well, he says, but he was around, right? And he was at some of the parties, so they were cool. So he says that he spoke to him since he came out, and he says, Big Meech got love for 50 Cent, man. And I just want to sit those two guys down together so they can work this up, because Big Meech didn't know about the politics, about, Rick Ross, and he thought Rick Ross was just showing love, and he got up with him and, did those pictures and everything. And then, really, honestly, he didn't know that there was some beef. Cap. Big Meech was always on the phone with people, very in tune with what was going on outside and music and everything. Always trying to connect with rappers like Lil Durk, Meek Mill when they blew up. They didn't know him before he went in. He was making sure he was tapped in. There's phone calls with him and Lil Durk on the phone. He didn't know Lil Durk before he went in. Lil Durk would have been like 9 or 10 years old, okay? He didn't know a lot of stuff, a lot of these people before he went in, but he stayed tapped in. He knew about the Ross and 50 beef. How did he not? He was always tapped in, talking to everybody. So what happened was, I'll tell you what really happened. Again, Big Meech came out. He is grateful for what 50 Cent did for his son, but he wanted more money out of the series, even though his life rights were sold by Tammy Cowan, right? He wanted more involvement and more money. And 50 Cent said no, maybe on a spinoff or something. And Big Meech didn't like that. And Big Meech specifically got up with his ops. He got up with Floyd Mayweather. He got up with Rick Ross purposely. He even put on the T-shirt for Rick Ross's car show. He doesn't talk too much, and he just does little subtle girly things, like putting on the Kanye West graduation jacket, like because they had 50 Cent and Kanye at once had a sales competition back in 2007. So he's just thinking of everything to get 50 Cent stirred up. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is calling him a rat because Tammy Cowan got on the stand and indirectly implicated Big Meech in getting Cuffy and Suarez together to do a deal, which ended up Cuffy getting a case put on him, more discovery, wiretaps, and they found more evidence of different things and arrested him. Now, Tammy Cowan's also requested time cuts for Big Meech for her cooperation. She was a known government informant. Also, working with the same agent in the beginning that arrested Big Meech. So that's not a coincidence. Akon says, I could sit these guys down and work this out. No, you can't. It's too late. And he says, anyone who understands the streets knows that you can't do 20 years and be a snitch. Yes, you can. If Tammy fumbled the situation where he could have gotten a time cut. She ended up smashing the agent after the one retired that arrested Big Meech, and it was passed on to another agent, Comer, and she ended up having sex with him, and that just ruined everything because it got exposed. It got found out. that Comer got fired. It was just a big problem. So Akon, once again, stretching the truth. It doesn't matter. Akon's successful. Akon does a lot of stuff. But he likes to, throw in some lies. He likes to wear the fake Christian Dior. He likes to give out some fake watches. He likes to embellish stories. And that's it. I mean, he'll tell you T-Pain was signed to him when he just discovered T-Pain and got a signing bonus. The same he got with Lady Gaga. He facilitated the deal. But they weren't signed to Convict. They had a Convict imprint, but it's just a signing bonus like a lot of artists. Usually they hand it off to a label. They get a signing bonus. Maybe they get bonuses if the artist does well. And for Jeezy did the same thing with YG. He stepped in with Def Jam, even though he was already signed to Def Jam and YG was already signed to Def Jam. He assisted in getting him to another level. And he got money for that. And making it look like he was signed to CTE. Anyways, that's about it. I think Big Meech and Little Meech, they're just doing their own thing. They're in limbo. Akon thought he was going to have a plan when he came out. Obviously, Big Meech does not have a plan. And he kind of ruined his relationship with 50 Cent at this point. I don't think it's even repairable. So any hopes of a spin-off, a documentary, and money that would have gone in that direction, I think is now done. I don't know if 50 Cent's actually going to end the series. Like, will he put his ego ahead of a show's success? That's to be seen, Or will he still continue with it, somehow continue to work with Little Meech, but also at the same time expose his father for being disloyal? And I mean, remember, Big Meech would write letters to 50 Cent saying, "Oh, nobody else." He specifically said this in his second letter to 50 Cent when the show was successful. 50's done things for this family that are invaluable, bringing BMF to a legitimate business. And then he talks about if whatever 50's problem is their problem, right? So that would mean Rick Ross, Mayweather, all that. That would mean that he would be loyal to that. But death before dishonor is just a saying with Big Meech. She doesn't actually live it, And that's the truth, So we'll see how everything pans out. Akon just talks to talk, man. I'll be honest with you. He's entertaining. He's funny. But sometimes he just talks. He'll say like 50% truth, 50% lies. And it doesn't matter. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace. Smash that like button for me.